You've tuned into another edition of The Break Room, a weekly conversation about how the City of St. Augustine works from those who do the work every day. Hosted by the City of St. Augustine's Communications Director, Melissa Wissel, The Break Room offers a closer look at the different city departments and provides updates on current and upcoming projects and events. And now, your host, Melissa Wissel.
Thanks for tuning in to The Break Room. I'm Melissa Wissel, Communications Director for the City of St. Augustine. This week, we celebrate Florida City Government Week. The theme, as it is every year, My City, I'm part of it, I'm proud of it. It's an annual program originated with the Florida League of Cities, and its purpose is to educate the public on how city government works, raise awareness about the services provided to the public and the departments who provide those services, as well as showing our residents how they can be involved to help build and shape the very community in which they live. Returning to the break room this week to talk about all this cool government stuff is our very own city clerk, Darlene Galambos. Darlene, welcome back to the break room.
I'm happy to be back.
Love having you here. I always associate you with being the most knowledgeable person on city staff about the city. I don't know whether that's something you you feel is a burden, but you are the records keeper. You are witness to most, if not all, of our major board meetings, and you really see those behind-the-scenes operations of how city government works, which is what we're here to talk about. So I'm counting on you today to help me share this information about local government.
Well, I certainly don't consider it a burden. I consider it a blessing because it's obviously something I'm passionate about.
You are.
So.
We're really glad to have you. So let's start talking about our city government.
So let's look at the bigger picture of what city government is. The state of Florida has 412 separate municipalities. Each is unique and operates under their own charter and government style. It can vary with the services they provide based on each community needs. For example, our local government operates under what we call a city manager commission form of government. The elected city commission appoints the city manager. The city manager is responsible for the day-to-day administrative operations, kind of like a CEO of a company.
Okay. That reports to a board of directors. Okay.
And so our commission, they're tasked with establishing our local legislation, our ordinances, resolutions, our local laws, if you will.
Okay. And our mayor is elected equally.
Correct.
It's a separate seat.
It is a separate seat. We started electing the mayor, I think, back in 2006. They used to have the same method of choosing their mayors, much like the St. Augustine Beach does.
Okay.
And their mayor is selected by the actual commission.
Okay, so they all get elected and then they vote among themselves.
Right. And they're essentially, they choose their chair. That's the role of the mayor when you're talking about city commission meetings.
Okay.
The St. Johns County, they don't have a mayor, but they have a chair.
Again, even at county level, they're voted in as commissioners, and within themselves they vote for the chair.
They choose their chair.
And we choose our mayor.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, and it's a little different role that our mayor plays than, say, Jacksonville.
Okay.
Their mayor is elected by the citizens, and he is the CEO of Jacksonville. He operates also as a city manager. So that's called a strong mayor form of government. So each community
a little bit different
does it in their own way.
But we all report, you and I report to the city manager.
Correct.
He reports to the commission.
Correct.
And we have fire department, police department, our fire chief, our police chief, they're appointed.
Yes.
Or they apply for those positions and they're selected.
They're selected by the city manager.
Okay.
So that, again, is different than, say, how the county is, where the people
vote in the sheriff and the
right.
Okay.
So
let's talk a little bit about our services. We're talking a little bit here about our fire department, police department. Part of City Government Week is talking about how our city operates.
Right. We have approximately 17,000 residents, and of course, we see over 6 million visitors annually. And all of the services that we provide are provided by our staff of 362 employees. So it's a heavy burden, but we get it done,
right.
By very passionate, very,
dedicated employees.
Yes, driven.
And when we talk about just how our city government works, we have, we were talking about the public health first responders. So we have fire and police. They respond. They don't pick and choose if you're a resident or not. They don't check your driver's license to see that you live here before they provide service.
Our visitors receive the same services that our residents do.
And we also have planning and building, public works,
Financial
services,
Yeah.
utility, water, all of it.
I could talk all day about the different services that we provide. But so with this year, typically during City Government Week, we visit our local schools. We have in-person tours of our facilities, and we do a lot of different things to help the public understand what goes on behind the scenes.
Physically bringing them in.
Yes.
We can't do that this year, or we're not doing it this year.
We're not doing it this
One
year.
more year. Last year, we really didn't do any of that. And I think this year, it's kind of the same approach.
Yes.
Keeping, unfortunately, COVID at bay. We want to keep everybody safe, so we're not able to do our in-person. And you talked about that. We've done wastewater treatment plant tours.
That is definitely one to go on.
Love that.
It's very eye-opening.
People think, I'm sure if folks have listened to this before, they've heard me talk about the wastewater treatment plant tours, but you're right. You will never flush your toilet the same after you've been down there.
So basically, what we're doing this year is we're creating videos that will highlight some of the services that we provide and give the public a chance to see what happens behind the scenes. Because just like you said with the wastewater treatment plant, you don't really know what happens once that flush occurs.
Once you hit the flush.
And so we try to give them a little bit of perspective on what happens after that. So I highly encourage everyone to watch those videos.
So just to let our listeners know, we're going to have a wastewater treatment plant, water treatment plant, that's the drinking water, fire and police, and we're also going to do a little behind the scenes at the city marina this year. So
exciting programming.
Be on the lookout for those. If you are just now tuning in, you are listening to The Break Room. I'm Melissa Whistle, Communications Director for the City of St. Augustine. Today in studio, we're talking about City Government Week with Darlene Galambos, City Clerk for the City of St. Augustine. So we've got a little bit of time left, Darlene, and before we go, we've talked about the city services and what we do. As a resident, though, how do I get involved? We're talking about teaching our community about government. Our community can get involved as well. And there's lots of ways.
There's
Talk
tons
about
of
that.
opportunities for involvement. Just start at your very basic level. Right outside your own front door would be your neighborhood association.
Okay.
We currently have 10 associations throughout the city, such as Fullerwood, Lincolnville, Flagler, Model Land, Old City. You probably would be aware of what neighborhood you live in, but that's a wonderful way to start.
Right.
And
each neighborhood has really unique and different needs.
its own flavor, its own architectural style,
Character, all that.
history. So there's a lot of things to be involved with at that level. Then we have our neighborhood council. The neighborhood council works as basically a liaison between our neighborhood associations and our city. So that's another way that you can be involved. We have some of our smaller boards, like our Street Tree Advisory Committee.
Okay.
We have from time to time task forces that we give very specific goals to, such as the mobility task force we've had. The most recent one would be our
The building.
building code task force. And so our commission will basically have like very narrowed goals that they want to have resolved or answered or worked out.
Right.
And so they'll appoint a task force for that. And then we have
We have our regular boards.
all right,
Do I have to run for office to be on one of those
you
boards?
do not.
Okay.
Most of them, you have to be a city resident.
Okay.
We do have a couple of positions on our pension boards that don't require citizen residency.
City residents. Mhm.
So we have our Code Enforcement Adjustments and Appeals Board. They basically are responsible for making sure that our codes are followed and there's no health, safety, building issues or anything. They help keep us.
Can I go to code enforcement if I'm a resident and report my neighbor who keeps their yard looking yucky?
Yes, you can.
Or I could apply to sit on that board.
Yes, absolutely. It's a very, very important role that they play.
Okay.
We also have our planning and zoning board, and their responsibility is to help guide a building project or somebody that wants to, install a fence in certain areas. But they kind of help guide residents whenever they are in a certain zoning category and kind of keep to that
standard
and character of each zoning.
It's really just to make sure that we don't have any weird rampant development or building of some sort that people drive by and go, whoa.
To its surrounding, depending on what zoning category you're in.
Okay.
And then we also have our Historic Architectural Review Board. And they are responsible for making sure that each neighborhood keeps to its historic character. And it could be something, a roof pitch or window style, or even so much as a color, because you don't want to have
you don't want to look like Miami Beach
building in the middle of
we don't want to look like Miami Beach downtown.
No,
come on now.
See, that's its own unique character,
right, yeah.
And then we also have our corridor review committee, and they're responsible for making sure that the character of each of our entry corridors is maintained, because they are different. We've got San Marco, we have our Anastasia, and then we have our King Street corridor. So each board has a very specific role that they play. And we actually have some openings available.
Okay. Do tell.
Currently, we have an opening on our police pension. We do actually have our own police, we do actually have our own pension boards. We have our general employees and pension board. We have fire pension and police pension. And each one of them has their own board that they...
And I don't have to be a police officer, a firefighter, or a city employee or past city employee to sit on them?
Well, it depends on the position. We do have, for the fire pension board, we have 2 members that are firefighters. Okay. 3 of them are residents.
Okay. So that's cool.
Yeah. So, and police pension, we have 2 police officers and 3 citizens.
And open right now, you said, is?
Police pension. Okay. We do have an opening on police pension. We also have positions available on our code enforcement board. So if you're looking to get involved in that way, please do come see me and apply. Or on our website, you can get an application, or you can email me at cityclerk@citysainaug.com, and I'll be happy to provide you with a board application.
And that's really a great place to start. Code enforcement, maybe.
Yes.
Or those boards. It just gives you that introduction to the rules around the city, what people are doing, keeps you in the know, if you will.
Absolutely.
And I think those are great places for folks to start. We have a lot of new residents, people that have come in from other places. So maybe those are great ways for people to get started.
Absolutely. And people don't really realize how different each community operates. They come here, and our city is, very unique, nation's oldest city. So we want to preserve our history. So that's why we have our neighborhood associations that keep that character, that keep that special flavor of their area.
That's great. Well, we are out of time. We've had a lot of great conversation about City Government Week and city government. And I thank you for coming and chatting with us.
Well, thank you again.
We'll have you back. If you missed part of this broadcast and want to go back and listen from the beginning, or if you want to catch any past interviews, you can find us on the web at citysainaugradio.com. You can also find this on the city website at citysainaug.com. We want to keep you informed about what's happening in and around the city, and most importantly, that you hear it here from the people doing the work and making it happen every day. You can like us and follow us on any of our social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City St. Aug. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
You've been listening to The Break Room, a weekly program addressing projects and programs offered by the City of St. Augustine. Join us each week as the city's communications director, Melissa Wissel, has in-depth conversations with the people who make our town work to meet the needs of our community. The Break Room is produced by communications specialist for the City of St. Augustine, Cindy Walker. See you at this time next week for another edition of The Break Room.